My sister informed my boyfriend that I was the inferior twin and tampered with my bicycle's brakes on the morning of our anniversary. My mother, however, was indifferent as she equated slimness with worth. Now, years later, things have shifted. They're in tears when they catch their reflection. I was always the less attractive twin, not that anyone would admit it outright. My parents never voiced it explicitly. Yet, when my sister Hannah and I stood side by side, eyes always gravitated to her first. Hannah was born slender, fair-haired, and lively. I came into the world reserved, broad-shouldered, and with a childish face. On our 9th birthday, my parents booked an upscale rooftop venue and gifted Hannah a designer bracelet. I was excluded from the celebration and ended up eating takeout pizza at home. Since my mom forgot candles, I blew out a matchstick instead. Every morning, she'd prepare Hannah avocado toast with a heart-shaped design. For me, it was a diet. Granola bar flung my way with a rushed, "Move it." The message was unmistakable. Thinness defined value. I didn't measure up until puberty transformed me. It didn't just change me, it reshaped me entirely. By 17, I'd shed the childhood chubbiness, grown into my features, and started turning heads in ways I never had before. At first I thought, it was a cruel prank the world was playing on me. I didn't know how to react. Then, unexpectedly, a boy asked me out. He was serious. No laughter, no hidden cameras. That's when it hit me. I truly looked different. So I agreed to date him. Somehow, Hannah found out, and that same day, my mom demanded I end the relationship. When I asked why, she said it was upsetting Hannah, and I needed to prioritize family. I glared at her, refusing to break things off. Still, I tried to keep my relationship discreet, hoping to preserve our family bond. But this wasn't enough for Hannah. On several occasions, she snuck into my room at night, grabbed my phone, and texted my boyfriend, asking if he'd rather be with the superior twin. She even spread lies about me being unfaithful. Her schemes never succeeded, but she was relentless. Then came our 2-month anniversary. I wore a dark dress that made me feel genuinely beautiful. Even my mom complimented my appearance. Hannah stayed silent all week, then snapped. During my morning bike ride, I realized the brakes were unresponsive. A massive truck roared past, and my heart froze. I thought I was done for. If not for a nearby field I swerved into, I wouldn't have made it. I knew instantly Hannah was responsible. But I wasn't furious or heartbroken, just terrified. I raced home and found my mom and Hannah in the living room. "Hannah, you lunatic, you nearly killed me." Hannah smirked, but I caught a flicker of concern on my mom's face. I pressed on. "Mom." Hannah sabotaged my bike. I could have died. Tears streamed down my cheeks. My mom sat there, her expression blank. "Mom, don't you care?" Finally, she spoke. "Leah, get out of my house." I stood frozen, mouth agape, for a full minute. She said nothing more, just called my aunt and told her I'd be staying with her for a while. Fury replaced my tears. I stuffed my clothes and charger into a bag and stormed out to the waiting rideshare. My blood ran cold. But 5 minutes later, I forgave my mom. She called, her voice trembling. "Honey, I'm sorry, but this is safer for you," she was whispering. "Your sister's envy has gone too far." A week earlier, when my mom praised my appearance, Hannah had tampered with her car's brakes. My mom was too afraid to involve the police because Hannah threatened to harm herself if authorities stepped in. It all clicked. Her tone revealed regret for how she'd raised Hannah. But I didn't regret it. Hannah now believed she was untouchable, that I was the lesser twin. I was ready to show her the strength of being underestimated. My Aunt Susan, my mom's younger sister, lived an hour away in a modest apartment. She always seemed to sense something was off about how my parents treated me. When I arrived with my bag of belongings and tear-streaked face, she didn't pry. She just hugged me and showed me to her guest room. "Stay as long as you need," she said, helping me unpack. I nodded, unsure how to respond. No adult had ever supported me so unconditionally. Susan's apartment was the opposite of our sterile family home. Warm, cluttered, with eclectic furniture and vibrant artwork. The guest room had a small bed with a colorful quilt and a desk, overlooking a community garden. For the first time in years, I could breathe. That night, I called my boyfriend, James, and told him everything. He was appalled and wanted to go to the authorities immediately. I explained why we couldn't. Not yet. Hannah's threats weren't idle. She was unpredictable. If she felt trapped, she might follow through. "So, what's your plan?" James asked. I didn't have one, but I knew I needed proof. Evidence that Hannah was a danger to me, herself, and others, something my mom couldn't dismiss. The next day, Susan helped me enroll in a nearby high school. Being the new kid mid-semester was strange but liberating. No one knew me as the unattractive twin or Hannah's sister. I was just Leah. I smiled more, participated in class, and even made a few friends. Without Hannah's shadow, I uncovered parts of myself I never knew existed. I joined the photography club and discovered a knack for framing shots. The club advisor suggested I consider art school post-graduation, a dream I'd never dared entertain. James visited that weekend. We watched a movie and grabbed ice cream, and for a few hours, I felt ordinary. But when he dropped me off at Susan's, reality hit. My phone showed 3 missed calls from my mom and a text. "Call me. Urgent." "It's Hannah," she whispered when I called. "She's been rummaging through your room, destroying your stuff. She says she'll find you." My mom sounded terrified. "She's not well, Leah." I sat on my bed, trying to process. My twin was hunting me. Susan knocked, holding a mug of cocoa. "Everything okay?" she asked, sitting beside me. I told her about the call. She listened, then said, "I know a family therapist. Maybe it's time for professional help." For the first time, I felt hope. A way forward without catastrophe. I wasn't alone anymore. I had Susan, James, and maybe a chance to help Hannah before someone got hurt. But first I had to protect myself. Hannah never gave up once she fixated on something, and now she was fixated on me. I started documenting everything, texts, calls, odd incidents. Susan bought me a notebook, and I recorded dates, times, and details of Hannah's actions, starting with the bike incident and working backward. The list was longer than I'd realized. "This is good," Susan said, reviewing it. "If we need to involve authorities, this will help." My stomach churned at the thought, haunted by Hannah's threats of self-harm. James visited again the next weekend. We strolled through a park near Susan's, and I shared my documentation project. The autumn leaves crunched underfoot, the air tinged with the scent of wood smoke. It felt almost normal, like I was just a girl with her boyfriend, not hiding from a dangerous twin. "That's smart," he said, squeezing my hand, "but I'm still worried about you." His warm eyes held concern, and my heart fluttered. James had been my anchor, never doubting me or calling me dramatic. I leaned into him, drawing comfort from his presence. Then I spotted a familiar car creeping past the park entrance. My pulse spiked. It was my mom's silver sedan with the dent Hannah caused last summer. "We need to move," I whispered, pulling James behind a tree. "That's my mom's car." We watched it circle again, slower. I couldn't see the driver, but I knew it was Hannah. How had she found me? "Maybe your mom slipped, or she tracked her phone records," James said grimly. We waited until the car left, then sprinted to Susan's. My lungs burned, from fear or exertion. I told Susan, who shut the blinds and checked the locks, each click both comforting and chilling. "We need to act faster," she said, grabbing her phone. "I'm calling my therapist friend." While Susan made the call, I texted my mom. "Hannah was here. Did you tell her where I am?" Her reply was instant. "No, I swear. Are you okay?" Another text followed. "Be careful. She took my car keys this morning. I thought she was just going shopping." Perfect. Hannah had a car now. I showed Susan, who'd just hung up. "Dr. Ellis can see us tomorrow afternoon. Your mom, Hannah, all of us." "Hannah won't come," I said instantly. "And if she does, she'll lie." I pictured her innocent act, wide eyes, trembling lip, the voice that convinced everyone. She was the victim. Susan shrugged. "Maybe, but Dr. Ellis specializes in family dysfunction and deception. She spots lies." I wasn't convinced, but agreed to go. Hannah knew my location now. It was only a matter of time before she tried something else. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every passing car or creak made me flinch, shadows morphing into menacing shapes. I imagined Hannah looming over me, knife in hand, with that vacant smile. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Found you, ugly twin. Sweet dreams." I showed Susan in the morning. She called my mom, who said Hannah had been home all night, as far as she knew, but the damage was done. I felt exposed, like Hannah was lurking in every corner. James drove us to the therapist's office the next day. The building was plain, with frosted windows hiding its interior. James squeezed my hand. "I'll be right here," he said. "Call, if you need me." He stayed in the car while Susan and I entered. The waiting room was calming, with soft blue walls and soothing music. To my surprise, my mom was there, alone, in a corner watching the door and hallway. "Where's Hannah?" I asked, keeping my distance. She looked drained, with dark circles and messy hair. "She refused to come. Said therapies for losers." Dr. Ellis was a middle-aged woman with warm eyes and a direct demeanor. Her office felt cozy, with plants and abstract art. She listened as I recounted everything, glancing at my mom, who stared at her hands, picking at her nails, until they bled. "Mrs. Carter, what's your take?" Dr. Ellis asked. My mom broke down, sobbing messily, mascara streaking her face. "I don't know what went wrong," she choked out. "Hannah was always so sweet, but now she's angry." Secretive. I found a notebook under her bed with plans to hurt Leah, to hurt me if I got in the way. A chill ran through me. What plans? My mom shook her head, taking a tissue from Dr. Ellis. "Horrible things. Cutting brakes was just the start. She had sketches, lists of tools." Dr. Ellis leaned in, empathetic but firm. "Has Hannah ever seen a mental health professional?" "No," my mom admitted. "My husband said she was just spirited, that I was overreacting." "And where's your husband?" Dr. Ellis asked. "Business trip," my mom said too quickly. I narrowed my eyes, recognizing her dodge. "Mom, where's Dad, really?" She avoided my gaze. "He left 3 days ago, said he couldn't handle the chaos." Typical. Dad always bailed when things got tough, leaving Mom to manage Hannah's tantrums. Now he'd left for good. I wasn't shocked. He'd been emotionally absent forever, only showing up for photos or Hannah's accolades. Dr. Ellis outlined a safety plan, suggesting my mom stay with us at Susan's temporarily and consider a restraining order against Hannah. My mom sobbed again, her shoulders curling inward. "She's my daughter," she repeated. "I can't do that." "She tried to kill your other daughter," Susan snapped, her patience fraying. "Twice." My mom agreed to stay with us, but refused the restraining order. Dr. Ellis gave her pamphlets for inpatient facilities for Hannah, but my mom's distant gaze showed she wasn't ready. When we returned to Susan's, James was waiting, tense, scanning the parking lot. "Someone slashed my tires," he said, pointing to his car, all 4 tires ruined with jagged cuts. My mom paled, her face almost translucent. She followed me. We rushed inside, locking the door. James called a tow truck while I helped Susan set up the sofa bed for my mom. I kept checking the windows, expecting Hannah's face in the shadows. That night, my phone rang at 3 a.m., unknown number. "Hello?" I whispered, heart racing. "You think you're hot stuff now?" Hannah's voice hissed, echoing oddly, like she was in a stairwell. "But you're still the worthless twin, turning Mom against me." "Hannah, you need help," I said, gripping my blanket. "Dr. Ellis can—" "I don't need help," she shrieked. "You, Mom, and that idiot boyfriend will regret this." She hung up. I sat trembling in the dark, the silence deafening. I saved the call to my records and checked on my mom. She was awake, silhouetted by streetlight. "I heard," she said softly. "She called me too." "What did she say?" My mom's face was ghostly. "That she's coming for us all." Next morning, we found a dead bird on the doorstep, its neck snapped, a note pinned to its wing. "Family meeting. Tonight. Or else." My stomach twisted. This was a new level of cruelty, meant to terrify. Susan called the police, ignoring my mom's objections. The officer took the bird and note but seemed unconcerned, treating it as a family squabble. We showed him my records and played Hannah's call, but he just promised to check on her, clearly unimpressed. After he left, my mom collapsed, sobbing. "This is my fault. I always favored Hannah, excused her behavior. Now look at us. I wanted to blame her for years of overlooking Hannah's actions, for praising her while ignoring me. But her brokenness stopped me. We'll fix this, I said instead. James arrived later, his face resolute. I've been thinking, he said. Maybe we give Hannah her meeting, but on our terms. His plan was risky but straightforward. Meet Hannah at the mall, a public spot with cameras and witnesses. His brother, a security guard, would be nearby in plain clothes, and we'd alert mall security and police. My mom called Hannah. We'll be there at 8 to talk, she said firmly. Hannah agreed too eagerly, which unnerved me. But we had few options. If we didn't show, who knew? What she'd do? We arrived at the mall at 8 p.m., still bustling with shoppers. We chose a spot by the central fountain, visible and monitored. James and his brother sat at a cafe table 30 feet away, blending in. Susan watched from a bookstore. My mom and I waited on a bench, scanning every passerby. Do you think she'll come? I whispered. My mom nodded grimly. Hannah never backs down. 20 minutes passed with no sign of her. As I started to hope she'd bailed, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Bathroom by food court. Come alone or mom's in trouble. I showed my mom, who paled. It's a trap, she said. You can't go alone. She was right, but I had no choice. I texted James the plan. He replied, no way, too risky. But I stood. I'm going, I told my mom. Tell James and his brother to wait outside. If I'm not out in 5 minutes, they come in. My mom grabbed my arm. Leah, she's unstable. I know, I said, freeing myself. But this has to stop. I walked to the food court, heart hammering. James signaled frantically, but I pointed to the bathroom and held up 5 fingers. The bathroom was in a quiet hallway near the mall offices. I pushed open the door, expecting an ambush. It seemed empty. 4 closed stalls, sinks with mirrors, harsh lights. Hannah, I called, my voice echoing. I'm here, alone. A stall door creaked open. Hannah emerged, barely recognizable, greasy hair, dark circles, wild eyes, wearing dirty clothes. You actually showed, she said, surprised. I didn't think you would. You wanted to talk, I said, keeping my distance, positioning myself near the door. So talk. She leaned against a sink, her gaze intense. You've ruined everything. Life was perfect until you changed. I didn't choose to change, I said. I just grew up. That's normal. She shook her head. No, you were supposed to stay the same. The lesser twin, the nobody. That was your place. Her words cut deep, confirming years of her disdain. That's twisted, I said softly. Sisters don't think like that. Sisters? She laughed bitterly. We were never just sisters. I was the star. Until you stole that. Her hand stayed in her pocket, and my stomach knotted. Was she armed? I needed to stall until James came. I didn't steal anything, I said. Your worth doesn't depend on me being less. Doesn't it? She snapped, stepping closer. I backed up. It was always a contest. I was better, until you weren't. That's not healthy, I said, trying to stay calm. Dr. Ellis could help. I don't need help, she yelled, her voice ricocheting. She pulled a small knife from her pocket, the blade gleaming. My heart stopped. Hannah, don't, I whispered, eyes on the knife. Please, I'm not here to hurt you, she said softly. Just listen. The door swung open. A woman walked in, saw us, me cornered, Hannah with a knife, and screamed. Hannah dropped the knife, lunging to silence her. I bolted past them, yelling for help. Chaos erupted. James and his brother rushed in, followed by security. Hannah tried to flee, but was caught near the food court, cuffed as she screamed. Her hateful glare as they took her away shattered me. She was my twin, yet she wanted me gone. The next weeks were a whirlwind of police reports, court dates, and therapy. Hannah was diagnosed with mental health issues, worsened by years of unchecked favoritism. She was sent to a psychiatric facility until deemed safe. My mom visited her weekly, returning with tearful eyes. I couldn't visit. Not yet. Maybe ever. My mom and I started therapy together, rebuilding slowly. She apologized for favoring Hannah, for failing to protect me. I mostly forgave her, but some scars lingered. Susan returned to her apartment, but called daily. James and I stayed strong. his family becoming my second home, showing me what healthy families could be. 3 months later, I moved back with my mom. My dad never returned, filing for divorce from wherever he'd fled. My mom seemed relieved, revealing the truth of their strained marriage. I started my senior year at a new school, free from being Hannah's sister. I was just Leah. I joined the photography club, made friends, and began planning for college. Some nights I still checked the locks twice or startled at Hannah-like figures, but therapy helped. Each day got easier. 6 months later, Hannah sent a letter. I hesitated before opening it. Inside, 3 lines. "I'm sorry for what I did. I'm getting treatment. Maybe one day you'll forgive me." I tucked it away, not ready to reply. Maybe I never would be. Or maybe years later we could build something new, not the toxic rivalry of our past, but something better. For now, I focused on myself, becoming Leah, not a twin, not a victim, just me.